And I was just so like flabbergasted on like, nobody talked about this. And it's because there's this misconception on what it is to be a business owner. So again, if you are comfortable with taking accountability and you're comfortable with doing some introspection, start your own business, for sure. If you don't feel comfortable working underneath other people because they have poor management skills, start your own business. Go to school for it. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself out of that. However, if you struggle with that and it's just once you do the introspection, once you're honest with yourself, because I feel like a lot of the times we're just not honest, whether with other people or ourselves. Once you're honest with yourself and you realize like, I don't like this feeling, I don't feel comfortable with this, then stick to a normal job. And there you are still worthy of so much just because you chose to do that. So I think it just comes down to what we've just been talking about. What's the theme throughout this entire podcast is, do you know who you are? Because you can come up with excuses, you can come up with, what such and such said, but once you know who you are, none of that matters. You'll shine.
Do you feel that it's a certain amount of money to start off with? Like, would you give it a number? Would you say money is important to start off a business with? Let's talk about money.
Again, it depends on the nature of your business. If your overhead is way more than, your expected like revenue, like the amount that you're wanting to bring in, then I think you need to consider some things. You may even look at investors. That is, definitely an option that's when it gets sticky when you're involving other people in your vision. But, if you don't have the funds, it's okay to humble yourself and say, I don't have the money right now. I need to have another funding source, or I need to find an investor. You're either going to sacrifice in the beginning or you're going to sacrifice in the end. You just have to make up your mind on which one is more worth it. So I think you should ask anyone starting a business with, wanting to, if they have a bigger overhead or not, just ask yourself that question.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. It really does depend on the nature of the business. Because I thought about it, and honestly, that was one of my biggest excuses, really. Like, oh, well, I need this and this amount of money before I can really do all of this that I want to do for my business. But as I was making those excuses, it kind of just grew, on me naturally. So I don't think for the nature of the service business that I offer, it's not a big capital amount that I need to have to invest in my business right now, unless I'm going all in, right? Right now, because I still do have that steady income from my full-time job, it's just kind of part of that. I'll invest in my business. The biggest thing is just making sure that you are aware of how much you're investing, because you want to also make sure you do your taxes right and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, I don't think that depending on the nature of your business, that could be used as an excuse, but I don't think it's necessary for every business.
I definitely agree with both of y'all. Like my journal business, I started that from nothing. Canva trial, Adobe trial, and I taught myself on YouTube University how to do everything I needed to do, and that was free. Okay. The only thing that I needed to pay for was my vendor. And even the first year I used a vendor overseas, but my second go round, I got a lot smarter and I found print on demand. And so that was something that allowed me to do it like significantly cheaper than the first go round, but that comes with putting in the time, the work, and the effort into your business. With when I started with It Works, it was a low startup cost, so it wasn't even like I had to put like thousands of other dollars. But I had tried to start my own business before, like a blog business, and I was like dishing out money for a website, for a host, for a logo, for all these things that if you would just sit down and do the research, you could do yourself. You can learn how to do it yourself. And so it all just depends. Like if you want to start a boutique, you're going to have to put that money up front to get the clothes, to get to get all those things. And I think people who want to start a business in their mind, as soon as I spend this money, I better get it back. And if I don't get it back, it's a scam. If I don't get it back, then it ain't work out. If I don't get it back right away, then it, won't meant for me to do. I think the expectation is if I spend money, then I got to get it right away. When you start a business, you have to expect to be dishing out money until you get the revenue that you want to get. And even when you get that revenue, it goes back into your business. And again, like they were saying about social media, like you're seeing like, oh, I make millions in my business. You don't see what goes into ads. You don't see what goes into marketing. You don't see what goes into a business coach. You don't see what goes into what got that person to where they are. And so you might not need a lot of money, but just know that you're going to have to spend money to make money. And like the late and great Nipsey Hussle said, it's all money in. Okay? Scared money don't make no money. So you have to be all in if you're going to choose to do this.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think that for me, like, I think that's really frustrating for me as a business owner and soon to be like, consultant or coach in that sense, area of business is I really want to help people start up. And the frustration for me comes from hearing the excuse of I don't have the money, or I got to go back to school and for 5 years and learn this, or I literally I need a rich cousin. It's like, for what? You really don't. And so to answer the question, I think that you have to spend money to make money, like everyone has said, but I do believe that starting up, you don't need to worry about, let me just go and, trademark this really quick. Let me go in and go ahead and get an LLC for this really quick. I think that there's some things that you can start as a baby. And then when you start to make the money, you start to put the money where it's needed. So of course you wouldn't go forever without legalizing your business, forever without trademarking it, forever without protecting your baby. But at the same time, starting it up, do what you can. Like, there are resources that you can find. There are people that will invest in your business. Like, there are people that are literally called to you that will push you to do something. And then pay attention to who you're around. Like the ladies on this podcast, you never know. Somebody might have your answer. You might hit Christina up and she's like, literally, like, this is all you have to do. And you thought you had to spend $1,000 when really she gave you like a free discovery call or something. And you just like figured out like, oh my gosh, that just answered all of my questions. And so, yeah, like you would have to spend money at some point, but I don't think like you need a big amount. I can't say there's a specific amount that you need. I do definitely believe that it depends on the nature of the business, what you are doing. But for me, I started with absolutely nothing. And I'm a believer. So let me tell you, okay, this was definitely not my doing. I didn't have any money. And it just kind of everything fell into place because I was submitted. I was in position to, like, I knew what my heart was. I know what I wanted to do. Like, I really was praying on, like, let's do this. Like, if you tell me to do this, I'm going to do this. And it all worked together. But that didn't just happen like, oh, just miraculously. I had people around me that had answers and that knew other people. And people would come out of nowhere and say, hey, do you need a suite? I know someone that they're hiring, like they have like open spaces for a suite. Oh, hey, this girl does logos. Like, she just started. She ain't charging nothing. Or she might be charging $15. You want to do that? So it's like, you have to get out of the mindset. I really just want to free some people in their mind to where it's like, hey, like, I think that I need to have all of this to get started. You really don't. The logo, the website and everything. Girl, you better get on Canva and make you a website for free. Okay? Guy, girl, get on Canva and make that free website. Like, get on Canva and learn how to make that logo. You need to start it. You don't need to think about, oh, I need to pay for a website. You don't need to pay for a website. Go on Canva and make that landing page. Get them emails. Okay. Start that coaching business. Get your little friends that you've been coaching or talking to or mentoring for like 4 weeks. Ask them to give you a review. Put that thing on that landing page. Okay. And then start to attract. Like, there is no, y'all can see the passion coming out, because it does definitely frustrate me when people think like they got to have all of these things together to start. You don't.